Hello, my dudes. I'm pretty sure that I just filmed the last video like 2 days ago, but it feels like it's been at least a week because I have been in my house doing almost nothing productive. I decided for this video that I'm probably just gonna talk the entire time, so if you don't want to hear my voiceover, just mute the video or click off completely. Don't really blame me there, but I have just been so intensely bored, and I realized that I have some canvases of paintings that I kind of started and then just gave up with, and this one had almost nothing on it, so I just gave it a nice fresh start with some white acrylic paint, which now I'm almost out of, so smart decision on my part. But for this painting, I decided to go with a set of cool colors as opposed to the warm colors from my last video. I really didn't like the painting from my last video. It just came out not looking great. Um, Here's me attempting to film with my left hand while painting with my right. I promise that I'm going to put my camera back on a tripod at some point during this video, but I just didn't feel like getting it all set up just for that introductory part. At least with using this white paint, it did give the piece an interesting texture. I'm not a painter, I am a photographer some days. This is just something that I can do within the confines of my bedroom that's a bit more interesting. I could take photos in here, but I don't really have anything that inspires me because I see this room every single day. I spend 90% of my time in here. I spend most of my time just laying horizontally on my bed, scrolling through my phone. I gave you a nice little aesthetic little close-up of my paint, and you can see me going in and out of focus because I really don't understand how to film. I didn't give the paint a ton of time to dry, maybe a few minutes, but I cleaned off some of the brushes from yesterday, so those are really all the things that I'm going to be using. Those few paints, this old canvas that I would like to repurpose because I only have 2 blank canvases left as far as I'm aware, and the rest are just painting projects that I started but haven't finished. So I do plan on doing something with those eventually, but I would like to purchase more blank canvases, but I don't have a ton of money, and because of coronavirus, I'm out of a job. So I am just trying to do things to fill my time that aren't going to cost me money. Despite the fact that I have now spent $15 on mobile games that was completely unnecessary. I found a new addiction to Solitaire Cube, which is a app by the company Skills, I think. I'm not doing particularly well in it. Some days I am just winning games, and most of the time I'm not. So, this painting sort of drew inspiration from a quick Google search that I did right before I started filming. I just searched abstract cool tone painting, and I think that it was someone's Etsy product, excuse me. I'm not really sure, but a lot of them gave me just the vibes of like mountains, so that's kind of what this is supposed to be, but I'm going to use the defense that it's abstract, and if it does not resemble mountains to anybody else, I at least have, some way of defending myself. Throughout this entire thing, I was just watching the show How I Met Your Mother, which I've seen several times all the way through, and I don't know why I'm not sick of this show yet, because I know almost the entire plot, but there's just certain things that you forget about, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't watched a show that ended in 2014, but it's just so interesting the overlap between Ted's life and the mother's life, and I know that it was all orchestrated for the plot of a television show, but like, gets me every time. Part of me will always be the 14-year-old watching that show at a probably too young age based on some of the adult context in that show, but like, who really gives a crap? I'm gonna do my best not to curse in these videos just because the fact that like I work with kids and God forbid any of them find this video, I don't want them to be influenced by me not having a more expanded vocabulary so I can fill it with better words than, insert explicitive here. What? It's not. See, I really thought that I could talk for a full 12 minutes just because I never stop talking. Everyone that I know just has asked me to stop talking at some point in my life. Like, it's at a point where it still bothers me, but I try not to let it. I just kind of go off in my own little world. I have not left the house since last Wednesday, and the only time I've been able to really talk to people is just on FaceTime, which I've done a few times, and it's been nice, but at the same time, it's really not the same as being with another person, and I completely understand why they're having us do this, but it's just a little, frustrating and sad. But hopefully we will persevere and get through this. Oh yeah, this is the part where I started doing something to the sky and then just completely disregarded it. Luckily the acrylic paint hadn't gotten a chance to dry yet, so I was able to go through and make it look a little bit better than it does right now. But I really just need something to do with my time. This is supposed to be, sort of inspired by the Northern Lights. I hadn't looked at a photograph of them. I still haven't looked at a photograph of them. I really don't know what they look like, but that's what I think that they look like in my head. And really, the whole world is just your perception, right? Like, no one else's perception matters. The facts don't actually matter. Like, who really cares? I don't know how many other people do this. Probably a lot, because I feel like I'm about as basic as they come, but I have been posting so many YOLO things, which if you don't know what that is, because, you're better than I am at being an adult, but basically you share it to your Snapchat and people are allowed to post things anonymously, and I have just been letting people say things with the anonymity, and some of the things that people say to me is super interesting, and some of it not so much. The internet is really just a big shield, and we all find ourselves hiding behind it, don't we? The things I'm saying are completely irrelevant to this video at this point. The fact that I'm even bothering to talk when I know that the only people watching this are my friends. I mean, am I wasting my time? I guess you can't really waste time for your friends. Unless they screw you over. Another thing about that painting is, the canvas, I had put masking tape around the edges, which I don't normally do, which I probably should start doing because the edges of my paintings are always quite messy. But, yeah, I had masking tape around it that had been stuck for a while, so not too far from now you guys are going to watch me struggle with it. And another thing is I did mess up the painting when I was taking off the paint, so I did touch it up a little bit after I stopped filming. Didn't really change any of the look of it at all. I'm not usually like a big fan of the cool tone colors, but I do really enjoy the nice cool vibes that this is giving, especially because it was snowing today. You know, at least like not being able to go anywhere. I'm like, oh, I can still go outside. Not while it's snowing. Like, do I own all the gear to go outside? Yes. Do I want to go outside? No. I took my dog for a walk the other day, and some of the snow that was out back in the woods hadn't melted yet, and I was like, you know what, it'll probably melt soon. It was about 60 degrees Fahrenheit that day, but here we are, more snow in the backyard, and pretty much the next week is just going to stay within the 30s and 40s last time I checked. Yep. high of 53 on Thursday. That's great. Probably should be going outside more, and forgot that was this point in the video where I dropped my paintbrush, and that was just kind of the moment where I was like, you know what, enough's enough. This painting's about as good as it's gonna get. Is it good? No. Is it passable? Yes. That's really all that matters right now. I feel bad. A lot of the people at my university went back to school today to do their online classes, but I took this semester off, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I do not know how I would have handled online classes. I really don't think that I would have managed. I'm hoping that everything can go back to normal by fall, because if I have to take online classes, I'm going to be very disappointed because I am an art major. Would you believe me based on this? No. But I am an art major. That's why I'm able to film this on a DSLR, because I do have a camera. I'm not the best at filming, but you know, I've done my best. I've got my tripod all set up in my room, and got a little area at my desk that I cleared off for these videos, and that's really all I have to say about this. I'm so sorry that I don't have more interesting things to talk about. There's nothing really going on in the world that everyone doesn't already know about. I know that the Olympics were postponed until at least 2021, but that doesn't really impact my life at all because I don't watch sports. And not even in like a cool, like, I'm too edgy. Like, I genuinely just get so bored so quickly. I don't mind watching things like soccer or hockey, but anything other than that just doesn't sit well. Oh, look, there's me bringing it in way too close to the camera for it to be able to focus. Good job, me. Uh, Thank you if you've made it all the way to the end of this video. I will probably be putting out many more of these, just because I have nothing else better to do with my time, and I am enjoying this. So, thank you, and goodbye.